Just who can survive without water? Well, every other day we have a day to celebrate different things across the world as per the United Nations calendar. But today we make it a bit special because it is World Water Day, and this cannot go unmentioned because we understand how important access to good water, clean water, sanitation is important for every one of us. They say water is life. It look like just a mere statement, but in real sense, it is not. It is the reality of the matter, and that's the reason why this morning, even as we celebrate World Water Day, it is important that we go an extra mile in having a conversation as to how far we are in ensuring that every other individual across the board has access to clean water, importantly at this point of COVID-19. And so we'll be discussing that alongside Churchill Jones, who's from the Water Vendors Association, as we commemorate this day, as we look at the strides we've made, as we look at the efforts that we've put, and what continues to alter us or bar us from accessing water, because truth is that not everyone has that access. Karibu sana sa. Thank you so much for creating time for us this morning as we look at this important subject. First, what is the theme today? What strides have we made? What is so special about this, this day today?
As you said, what is life? And I think I'll start by saying in the world, only 9% of the world water is fresh.
9%?
9%.
Oh, that is heartbreaking.
90% is salt water.
Okay.
So we live in a decade where protecting water at all costs, it's everything that we have.
Okay.
Because I say in the next 10, 20 years, water will be the next gold or oil.
Right.
And I think these are started, if you see like the past 10, 30 years, people have commercialized water, whereby we no longer trust the infrastructure that gives us water in our taps. We opt now to buy bottled water, which we believe it's the most safest. But I believe that access to water is one of the major things that government should look at, because water cuts across every source of life: infrastructure, agriculture, health, sustainability, gender. It cuts across everywhere. And for this year World Water Day, the theme is, how do you value water?
Okay.
What's the value of water to you as a person, as a government, as a community, religious, culture? What's the value of water? And I'll say water is priceless. We cannot value it. We cannot give it a price tag.
Yet we seem to be very comfortable with having a 99% of it salty. And much as we would say we've seen efforts towards making it clean and good for the people, we have gotten to a point where we say well and good. What really stops us from pushing these efforts even further? Is it because it's an expensive venture? Is it because there's no water in real sense? Or why is it that we are even looking at a future of making the situation tough as opposed to making it better, when we say that in the near future it will be as the black gold?
One thing I'll say is that it's an industry that people have never focused into. One, it doesn't have that much in terms of revenue, it has much of profitability, and it has been left for cartels and guys who have already commercialized water to really take the center play of access to water. And apart from that, also, if we look at issue to do with water itself, the infrastructure, it's very expensive. And currently, even the global community still have deficits of billions and billions of dollars that is required to put infrastructure in place. Kenya also is there. We still are lying behind. We are at 58% of people who are accessing to clean water or pipe or infrastructured water. You still have places in Kenya where people still take pond water, where infrastructure is not there. I'll give an example. Let's look at Nakuru, Kajiado, Lower Eastern, Mombasa. These are areas where still the high level of fluoride in water is so high. Yet there is infrastructure, but the kind of water that is being pushed out still does not meet the WHO standard, because there is a standard for water that's ready for consumption.
Yes.
Yeah, and we know the government has done much in terms of access But the March, looking at the acceleration, we're still at 2% annually. And currently, each and every nation is pushing for the 10 years decade of water by 2028, actually, to make sure that each and every person gets access to safe water and sanitation. I don't believe with 2% we can get there. We are talking about another 4 or 5 years. We can't get there just if we go single-handed. And also, what also drives us back is the policy we make. Like currently, this one I'll put it on our parliamentarians, not even the taxman. Our parliamentarians make law, of which sometimes these are nice laws, but we need them to be more schooled in terms of when they're making laws that touch on livelihoods or constitutional right, they have to follow the current law that are there. Like for example, when the exercise law was made to come to play, and where the member of parliaments decided that water should be taxed. Did they look at the Water Act? What does the Water Act says? The 2016 Water Act. Does it give Kenyans the right to water as a constitutional right? Because that's a basic commodity.
Yes, it does.
And I think when somebody says that having a safe water, something that you trust, is accessible or it's luxury, I don't know where this person is coming from. Yeah. Because I believe one of the things is that if something is a constitutional right, then it's a responsibility of the government to provide it. And I'll say the Ministry of Water has done its part by coming up with the session paper 1. This is a national water policy, of which it will really harmonize some of these issues that are coming up.
What global approach should be taken in regards to making sure that people have access to safe water? I mean, 71% of the world or the Earth's surface area is water. Then one would want to assume that in a time when technology is up there tops, at least we would have found ways of making sure that this water is purified and is made safe for consumption. Why is it then that we still at points where such is not the case? Do we lack that aspect of priorities, or setting our priorities right? Do we lack that aspect of nations coming together towards creating proper policies that can address this? Do we lack that aspect of how best we can sit down and find ways of countering the climatic conditions, the changes that are witnessed today, that would probably alter and make it even worse for the sources of water to be able to have the same?
I think it's lack of political goodwill. I'll put this on our politicians, because I think if you look at the past decades, there's so many. We came from MDGs that ended in 2015. And after that, there's now SDGs. And if you look at SDG 6 that talks about access to clean and, access to water and sanitation. And when we prioritize SDG 1 that focus on safe, affordable drinking water, I think there's no issue of clean. We talk about safety. Because safety is something that is paramount to health. Yeah, not clean. This water can look clean, but maybe it has contaminants. So that's one thing that people need to look at. So when we talk about access to safe, what do we mean by safe? Yeah, we are talking about taste. We are talking about color. We are talking about the level of fluoride in it, the pH. There's so much to make that water become safe. So one of the things I say is that we need political goodwill, because I think our nation recently, I think last week on 18th, they signed a joint statement. And the joint statement, I think, focused a lot on how do we accelerate the 2028 goals of SDG 6. And Kenya is among of the countries that are ratified to this. And I think it focused on a few things. One, it focused about data. Two, it focused also on financing. Innovation, and these are critical things that we need. And we know as much as even currently there's little being pumped into the water sector. I don't think it's much. We need more than that. Looking at it now that water is an essential commodity, even to fight back the epidemic, we need water than anything else.
It's true.
Yeah, because if you look at the investment current, even for vaccine, Kenya cannot give it 40 million people in the next few months or in the next few years. Yeah, even the rollout is for 2 million or 3 million people. So it means water is needed now. It's the antidote now. So investing in it, I believe that's the first thing that we should focus in.
Right, and I think I've picked a lesson today. I always say clean water is safe for consumption. So in real sense, it's actually not aid. It should be safe. And safe then, it means it should be clean.
It should be clean.
Once it's safe, it's automatically clean, and with the right temperatures and the right the hydro. You call them what?
There's pH.
The pH.
The TDS.
Yes.
These are all things that look at contaminants. One, if you're looking at contaminants, looking at what are the other things that we can find in water.
The components within, yes.
Within water.
Okay.
And what is safe? Because
which is not. It could be there in excess. Sometimes they say fluoride is not good, they say, which is supposed to be in water but not in excess. All right, well, that's important. And in about 5 minutes or so, it is only fair that we get to understand what is this that your entity or your organization is doing different, and what efforts have been put. Because in as much as we always point fingers at the government, it is only fair that in our own special capacity we come up with ways of also addressing the troubles that we have.
I think I'll speak on behalf of what we call the Kibanda water sellers.
Okay.
Those are people that I represent here. And what we've done, I think, if you look at the water sector, in the past 5 years, we have lesser cases of cholera outbreaks.
Okay.
Yeah, they're lesser.
That's
These
true.
days you don't even hear them.
That is true.
Yeah. So what we've done is that what we have done is lower the price of access to water.
Okay.
The water that you buy bottled at 50 shillings, we've made that possible for Kenyan, the common mwananchi, to get it at 5 bob per litre.
Okay.
So what we've done is, apart from commercializing water, is making it accessible for everybody. Yep. And one is by making it safe. We know we have water, yeah?
I'd love to counter that, because I remember sometimes back when there was trouble about, in accessing water sometimes in Nairobi, you could go and get the jelly can, the 20 liters jelly can at the most you could buy for is about 5 bob. But today it has to be 20 shillings. Labor, what makes it even 50 shillings.
This is true.
Yes. Or this is in comparison to now how tough times are in the economic tough times. Yeah. Okay.
And I believe this is something that we need to protect at all costs. And apart from that, also, what our association have done is that if we were looking for water as a commercial commodity, I believe we could have not pushed dialogue even with the government. I'll talk about the taxman, for instance. Currently, there's a 6 bob exercise on safe water.
Yes.
Something I don't even understand.
Okay.
Yeah, myself, I don't understand that. Because I look at it from the perspective that if somebody is selling water at 5 shillings per litre, and now the taxman wants to get 6 bob from that same water, it's even too much.
It's expensive, eh?
Yeah.
All right.
Even
so
the cost of doing business.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, then I will call ourselves, we are subcontracted to work for the government, which is not, it's not fair.
Okay.
Yeah. So we believe fair taxation, it's one of the key things. And also to make this also be something possible, both houses, both the Senate and the National Assembly, should make the priority of passing the session paper 1. The way they pass their salaries, they should make this be something that Kenyans are looking at for us to get there.
All right.
Because the taxman, I don't think he has a problem. For his job is to implement the law. So who is the lawmaker here? The people we represent we elect to represent us. They should make this right by first adopting the session paper 1. Indeed.
While we might be complaining and saying that we've not done much, what would be your parting shot, maybe in 30 seconds, in regards to this? Do you also appreciate that indeed, as much we have made probably strides, at least we have water down there in some of the regions that you probably would not expect to be having water? Ukambani has been crying foul for the longest of time, but today it's probably a whole different affair.
What I would say, the government has done a tremendous job. If you look at last year, the government sunk, I think, more than 200 boreholes in less than 4 months. That was something tremendous, something we don't see. And those are the steps we're talking about.
Yeah.
But now what prevents these steps from even making them better is that, yes, the president is doing much, but what are the lawmakers making? Because currently is that, if you look at the borehole that was sunk last year,
yes,
almost 60% of these have high level fluoride.
Oh.
Yeah.
So then it doesn't make them safe.
It doesn't make them safe still.
Okay.
So we believe that proper mechanism and laws will make that possible. One is that government cannot do this by themselves. So it means they need the civil society, they need the private sector, and even making it more, the environment more friendly for people to invest in water sector, because like us, we are investors in water sector.
Right.
Yeah. So to protect those investment and make it more enticing for people to invest, so that accelerates the actual 100% goal of making water, accessible for all.
Okay.
Yeah. The other part also, just to when you as my part in short will be, is that the law, as it still says currently, is that if you make water safe, removing fluoride from water, and you're not working for the county government, that's illegal. You need to get extra for that.
Okay.
How do you manufacture water? That's my question.
Becomes tricky. All right, well, it's a conversation worth having. It's a conversation that I personally think we need to have some more and more. I had a couple of questions set for you, but then again, I'm sure we're going to invite you some more. What are some of the issues, health issues related to this? We know how then do we ensure that in our own capacity, we make this water safe for drinking, because sometimes you might not get it safe, but there are mechanisms that you might incorporate that would be friendly for you, and so much so. And so as we celebrate this day, it is incumbent upon us to ensure that, we come out also to help the government in terms of ensuring that, at least we have safe water. And I repeat, safe water. I started by saying clean water. I have, I'm winding up by saying safe water.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Churchill Jones from Water Vendors Association, doing an incredible job. And we can hope that this would be pushed even further. And as you rightfully put it, incumbent upon the authorities, the leaders of the day, to ensure that they come up with policies that are going to be instrumental in making these changes and, guaranteeing the people water, safe water for that matter. I am worried that he speaks of, a scenario where in the near future it will be a whole different scenario. But then again, he says that if we get it right in terms of governance, then maybe, just maybe, we might be talking of a different scenario altogether. Happy World Water Day. As we celebrate this day, please make sure that you keep safe at this point of COVID-19. As he says, water is crucial